Yo, what's up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to the channel. Today we have some new Delta Force information. We actually have the release date for the early access, or they're calling it open beta now. They've kind of done a bit of a switcheroo on that one, not exactly sure why, but we'll get into that in a minute. And then we also have some new details about the new early access content that's going to be coming to the game. That is essentially what is on offer right now in the Chinese version. If you happen to be playing that version of the game, you will have more content than what we currently have in the Steam Next Fest version. Some of this information is from official channels, some of it is not, but we're going to get into all of it here in a second. As always guys, if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Plenty more Delta Force and Battlefield content to come from me here in the near future. Battlefield more so next year when that game starts to come around again. But for now, it looks like the focus is going to be a little bit more on Delta Force, as we are going to be getting our hands on this game sooner than you think. Okay, so first of all, just let me show you guys this tweet here. We'll start with this. So this came out of the official Delta Force Twitter channel, and this is about the exact time that the Steam Next Fest demo is shutting down. So October 22nd, 3 a.m. UTC is the last opportunity you guys are going to have to play Delta Force during the Next Fest. So that's the middle of the night for me. Obviously, I'm on UTC. If you guys are over in the US, it's going to be a little bit later than that, so you might have a few more hours than me. But essentially today, the 21st of October, for me, is going to be my last opportunity to play. And for a lot of you guys in Europe, it's going to be the same as well. But you will notice they say we've got some big Delta Force news to share real soon. And, well, they've already shared it. So they've actually shared this message in-game, which is sort of a strange thing to do, because originally they said they were going to, first of all, share the release date for the game once the Next Fest had concluded, but to just do it in-game and not on any of their social media, so they didn't put it on Twitter, there wasn't a YouTube video. It's kind of odd, but I screenshotted this for you guys here. And this is what it says. Dear operators, we have some great news to share. Thanks to the rapid progress of our development team and the positive reception we've had to our current builds, we're excited to announce that we are launching our global open beta, previously called Early Access, on December the 5th. For PC. So December the 5th is gonna be the day, guys. This is our initial release version of Delta Force, featuring full live service content updates and no more progress resets. So that's really good. Get ready to dive into Genesis, our first season in the open beta. Experience everything we have to offer, discover unique maps in both Warfare and Hazard Operation, so the Havoc Warfare. We'll also be rolling out new weapons, vehicles, appearances, UI, mechanics, servers, languages, and more over the next 44 days. Stay tuned. The saga of Ashara begins here. No one gets left behind. That's kind of cringe. But the rest of it sounds pretty darn good there. So December 5th, guys, a little bit later than I think most Battlefield games release. They are generally around October or November, but this time around, it doesn't matter because there is no Battlefield game coming, so Delta Force pretty much have this part of the market. So one of the interesting things I find about this is they have changed the name from Early Access to Open Beta. Now, I don't think that's necessarily going to matter to people, though. Once the game is out and progress is going to be permanent, people are simply going to judge Delta Force on whatever content is in the game. And speaking of that, you may be wondering, since we didn't get any new content in the Steam Next Fest build compared to the Alpha build, how much more content are we going to be getting then in this Open Beta build, as they are now calling it? Well, I don't have any official word from Delta Force, although they are going to be releasing information over the next couple of months leading up to the release, so I'm sure we will get word on that. But we do have some interesting Reddit posts to go over here where people have chimed in about just what they've experienced in the Chinese versions of the game. Okay, so this is the first post. You know what, let me go and put you guys on the green screen here and make this a little bit bigger and easier to read for you. So this is future content previewed from the latest Chinese dev Q&A. And you may be asking, what is the source of this? So the devs are collecting questions from the Chinese Discord server and other various sources. And every now and again, they haven't asked me anything in Chinese. So that's why we haven't heard about this yet. But this kind person here, Gail Deadly, has kindly decided to translate some of it for us. How accurate his translation is, I'm not exactly sure, so this is a little bit speculative. It is conjecture to some degree, but just, you know, keep that in mind. Take it with a pinch of salt, but I would say it's pretty much 90% correct. So, Phase 2, which I can only assume is going to be like when the open beta comes out, for the extraction mode, there's going to be a new raid-like PvE mode for multiple players to complete objectives. So instead of having to always play against other players, like if you somebody who wants to play alone and you don't want to match up against like 3-player squads out there, you're going to be able to have a PvE experience if you want to, so that's pretty cool. For the battlefield mode, aka Havoc Warfare, there's going to be one new map. And then he says one original map will also be updated. So I'm not sure if he means like one of the original maps from the old Delta Forces, like Cracked, which we've already been playing in the current test. That was an old Delta Force map, so I'm not sure if he means that, or he's talking about one of the original maps that we've already been playing that's going to be updated to be improved, because I think we can all agree that, you know, the maps we've played so far, they definitely could see some improvements. And then there's going to be one new agent, I guess he means operator, with drones and a gas mask in appearance. So we've already seen a lot of drones in the game. You know, one of the engineer guys, he's got that drone that he sends out, and it does all this sonic magic trickery that sort of gives you this suppressive effect on your screen. One of the medics also has a smoke drone that you can affect and make it heal people. So since he has a gas mask, my thoughts here is that it's going to be some sort of a gas emitting drone. Then for phase 3, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. Like, when is phase 3? Is that after the open beta? Is it like the next season? Whatever it is, extraction mode is going to have a new PvP mode added. There's going to be a new map expansion for the first map. I haven't played the extraction mode like at all, so I don't really know anything about this. I don't even know what the name of the first map is, so apologies guys if you're here for that kind of content, but just know apparently there's going to be some sort of expansion there for the first map, so it's going to grow a little bit larger, I assume. For the battlefield mode, 2 new maps and new building mechanics for different classes. So what I think he means by building mechanics here is something like fortifications from Battlefield 5, if you're a Battlefield player. So that's pretty cool. There's going to be one new agent, and then, of course, the new Black Hawk Down campaign, which we already knew about. I'm definitely excited to try that out, although this one is not going to be free to play. You will have to pay for this campaign. And then Season 1 3x3 questline and safe box duration extended. The safe box is something for the extraction mode. I don't really know what he means by 3x3 questline here. Maybe it's something that extraction players know, but I certainly don't. So chime in down below if you know what he's talking about. So moving on, we have another thread. And this guy says, I've played the Chinese version for 2 weeks, ask me anything. So for those unaware, the Chinese version that's been available even, I think, before Steam Next Fest was an updated build. They didn't have the same maps that we had during the Steam Next Fest. They had even more content. And the reason for that is because the Chinese build had only been localized in that language. It wasn't ready for the English audience yet, but that is essentially, how I understand it, going to be the open beta build that we will be getting our hands on December the 5th. And this guy's played it, so people have been asking him some pretty interesting questions about it. So this guy says, does it seem to have more in it than the global release? Is there more content and more bug fixes and things of that nature? And he says, I have only played the global release demo for some matches, but I did notice some different things. More content, yes. For tactical mode, that's the extraction mode there. Brakesh and Space City map is fully accessible, and there is one extra level higher than Confidential, which only opened during weekend. So he's talking about the difficulty levels here. Confidential was the hardest difficulty. There's going to be an even harder one there. He also says here, for Havoc Warfare, there are more than 2 maps. So he says 4, I think. That's a little bit of a letdown to me to hear that there is only 4 maps in total. I'll get onto that in a minute. And then he also says, I think the music and the sound are incomplete in the demo, whilst those in the Chinese full release build is way better. There's also one more engineer operator that has a guided missile as an ultimate, which can be unlocked from the event. So I think he's talking about, I think he's called Ularu, right? The guy with the TV missile, basically the male Liz. That operator was already in the build we have at the moment, so unless he's referring to another operator with a guided missile, then he may just be getting confused there. So this is one of the most important questions here. What is the amount of AI players versus real compared to global? Especially in tactical, I find it far more noticeable there. So it says, in the full release version, the first game is a 100% AI bot game, and the AI in those games are relatively easy to kill and shoot shoot worse than those I encountered in the demo version. So it sounds like maybe they have toned down how good the AI actually are a little bit, but this confirms that AI are going to be in the open beta release of the game, unfortunately. Also, the AI won't spam detect arrows. While I found those arrows are flying all around in the demo version. You will also queue to another AI bot game when your stash value goes below a certain value or you die too much. So that's obviously for the extraction mode there. And it says, I observed on my group's Discord streams, and I only go into 2 AI bot games on my first 2 games because I have better experience in extraction games. So it sounds as though the better you perform, the less bots it's going to make you face. So it's not just a way for them to fill up the servers, it's also a way for them to control the skill of the players that you're up against. So this guy again here asking how many maps are there in Havoc Warfare. Are the 2 from the alpha and beta in it? I feel like I've already played them to death. I need more variety, so I'm not saying this again so often, and I definitely feel this guy, I feel the exact same way. And he says, I think there were 4 maps, but I've only played 3 of them. So once again, they're confirming that. This guy is asking about skins. How much are the skins and do they fit the theme of the game? And he says the skins are, in my opinion, expensive. The first they promoted is a golden ghost skin. Nice choice there. With very cool visual effects, but it is in a loot box. Costs $1.4 US, and this is in China, remember, so probably outside of China, it's going to be significantly more than $1.4. And the chances are shown in the image below. So let's take a look at this here. Ahaha. Okay, so as you can see, this is the skin, and denoted by the color here in the background, this is going to be like the legendary, the rarest thing you can get out of the loot box. These other things here are less rare, so you're going to essentially have to gamble. Now, I know that gambling, I thought was banned in a bunch of countries, in fact, including Iceland, where I happen to live. So I don't really know how that's going to affect things, but I'm very interested to see what the monetization, what the microtransactions in this game do look like. Also note here, it says, can you earn loot boxes for free? No, you cannot earn them for free, so you have to buy them. Here's another question about monetization. What can you pay for with real cash? How does the safe container work? So this is like the safe box for the extraction mode. And he says, at level 1, the early levels of free season pass each give you around 10 days of 2x2 safe container. Since you can only gain 15 levels per week, if you play and reach level 35 of the season pass, it'll give you the 2x2 for the whole season. For the 2x3 container box, you have to buy the premium season pass. For you to use it for the whole season, it costs around $10. And then for the 3x3 container box, you have to do the seasonal quest, which is a series of annoying and hardcore missions. All those container boxes will be removed once the season ends. So that is, it sounds like the main incentive to actually purchase the battle pass is to get these lock boxes here. And obviously that's only for the extraction mode. If you guys only want to play Havoc Warfare, then that's not really going to be an issue. But he also says, is there nothing else outside of the safe container we can buy with real cash? You can buy character and skin loot boxes. So that's good to hear. No pay-to-win stuff, unless you consider the safe box to be pay-to-win. Some people do, others don't, but that's what it is. Is there going to be a jet in the Chinese full release? No jets, but helis. Doesn't really surprise me there. We knew that they were working on making the jets, but it sounded very much like they weren't going to be prepared for this release. But the helicopters are in there. I really do hope they look into the helicopters, because at the moment, the vehicle mechanics, especially for the helicopters, are really atrocious. So that's pretty interesting there, guys. Definitely some worries that I do have about Delta Force. First of all, you know, the AI. I don't really get it, because I haven't seen a single person out there who said, I love the AI. Let's keep the AI in there. Like, nobody wants it in there. So it's not as if they're having to toe the line between people who want it in there and people who don't want it. Or at the very least, marking the players who are AI with a suffix. There is just no way that that is going to be detrimental to the game. It has to be a boon. It has to be a plus for the game in general. So why don't they just do it? Why aren't they coming out and saying that they're going to do it if they don't have the time to get it in for this particular build, so they can put our minds at rest? And the only conclusion I can come to is that they don't want to do it. But they also don't want to come out and say, we don't intend to do that, we have no plans to do it, because that's going to piss people off. So yeah, I don't know. I really cannot get over that one. I also think in terms of content, we all heard that Delta Force had 3 seasons already planned for the game. Now, the early access release, the open beta, call it whatever you want. The fact of the matter is that is going to be the version of the game that everybody will have available to play, and people are going to judge it as such. And the amount of maps that is going to be available there for Havoc Warfare doesn't sound like it's going to be enough. According to this guy, and he might be wrong, but it doesn't sound like he is, it's only going to be 4 maps. So we've got Ascension, we've got Cracked, which we've already played a ton of, some of us more than others, and then there's going to be 2 more maps alongside that. That doesn't really sound like a whole lot of content to tide us over. Maybe they're thinking, well, you've also got the extraction mode, but a lot of people don't want to play the extraction mode at all, or the single player Black Hawk Down mode. They just want to play Havoc Warfare. So I guess having 3 seasons ready to go and more maps coming out and more operators sounded pretty good, but if you only released 4 maps with the game to begin with, well, now all of a sudden, having some seasons ready to go isn't that great if you don't give us any content to begin with. Anywho, I guess time will tell, guys. Like I said, we are going to be getting some official statements out of the Delta Force team as we run up to that release date on the 5th of December, so they will be spilling the beans on everything then. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. I also just wanted to ask you, while I have you here on a video, what do you guys think of this sort of video? I've been experimenting with doing some facecam type videos, especially when I have something that's just on the screen in front of me. It's news. I want to get it out to you guys as quickly as possible. And sometimes doing this sort of a video is a lot faster for me than editing a bunch of gameplay. I'm also aware from the way that I watch YouTube, I generally have a video on a second monitor and I'm just listening to the commentary. Or I've got my AirPods in and I'm cleaning the kitchen or whatever and I'm just listening there. I'm not necessarily looking at the screen anyway, unless there's something relevant, like maybe in this video. So let me know if you like this kind of video. Let me know if you don't like it and you prefer my old style where I was just behind the microphone. You guys couldn't see me and I was just editing some gameplay in there. Let me know what you think. And also, guys, don't forget to come along to the live streams. I've been making an effort to live stream a little bit more often now. I'm also over on the Twitch side of things if you guys want to hang out there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end, have a good one, and I'll see you all in another video.